Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla.
All right, we are back. I am so sorry to the audience. If you guys were watching, the stream got cut because Breakfast Club don't play that mess with you restreaming their stuff. And, even if you're using it for educational purposes or fair use, or you can stand on your head, you can pat your tummy, rub your head. They don't care, they're gonna snatch your stream. And I really feel that we were really getting somewhere with Kevin Hart's word, and they snatched the stream right down. I don't even know if just playing the audio would help. Do you think just playing the audio would be better?
I think it would be the safest option just to kind of talk about what they said since we've already watched it and we can just kind of go off of that. Because if you just play the audio, you might get it snatched as well. It's
Okay, well,
tricky with the Breakfast Club.
I'll go ahead and let you do a recap. I need to go into the YouTube studio while you're doing the recap of everything that we were talking about, and just kind of see if I can remove the damaging stuff from the other stream so it doesn't get taken down all together. Because
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
just
see the stream at all, can you?
so I don't know, but I while you work on that, I can just kind of talk.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'll be right back, guys.
So the thing about the situation with Cat Williams and that he hasn't given the stamp of approval or brought anybody along to put them on. And that's what the main issue that a lot of people have with him. People have said that he's chosen drugs, whereas Cat Williams, when he defends that, he says, no, I wasn't on drugs. And it's a lot of misleading information, half truths, and lies to avoid the consequences of the truth. And the truth is that even though Cat Williams is high value, he's low quality, and he's also low promise. He's not trying to put anybody on. And ex-girlfriend Hazel E, she was saying that she praised him at first. She was using the girl code mindset to hook him up when he was on stage, but he wouldn't reciprocate that and return the favor and help her. So she had to put herself on. That's how she has the girl code book on Amazon and the music, or the album rather, on Apple Music. And we see a lot of times where people want you to, in talking about people like Cat Williams, they want competition as long as you can't compete. And that's what Cat Williams wants from the people that he brings with him when he goes on tour to the people who he feels should have a limited opportunity, like Tiffany Haddish. He wants someone like Tiffany Haddish, allegedly, to go through hazing and never come off and be under someone and not be able to rise up and rise above. And there's been a lot of stories of Cat Williams liking toxic women because he likes to, we'll just say, get handsy with them and be rough with them, all alleged. And that's the thing when it comes to these men like Cat Williams and other men who want a toxic woman. They want her to be toxic. They just don't want her to be toxic outside of the box that they put her in. And they also don't want her to turn on them. That's why they're giving all these gifts and money and showering them with stuff. But in the level up game that these women like Hazel E are, when they're transactional in nature, Cat Williams is okay with you being hypergamous as long as you stay entry level. Because when it comes to hypergamy, there's levels to it. And Cat wanted her and other women like her, and even men to be honest, to stay entry level and never rise up and be able to compete and win. So that stamp of approval, that's where we left off with when it came to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was like, hey, I like you, Cat Williams. You're funny, you're entertaining, you're talented, but use your platform to put people on to where they can come up to your level, even get above you, not put them on and keep them under you. And that stamp of approval is really important. And when when wanting someone who's toxic. A lot of men really, when they say toxic and fun, they're really referring to a woman who is we'll just say she's high maintenance, but she doesn't have the mindset to actually go get it herself. So it's like, I'm going to feed you, and then when you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to starve you, which is like operate conditioning associated with that pimp life, that pimp mindset, where it's like you're one of my 304s, but I don't want you to ever be independent because I want to keep you under me so I can keep control over you. We saw this with Puff Daddy and Cassie allegedly. Puff Daddy offered Cassie the ability or the opportunity to get on after he heard that Me and You song on MySpace. And he said, hey, for you to get put on, though, you got to go through some hazing. Cassie agreed to it. What she didn't anticipate was allegedly was for the hazing to continue indefinitely, for her to be able to level up as long as the level didn't exceed what Puff Daddy wanted. And I think, in my opinion, Katt Williams is the same way. That's why people have a problem with him. And Katt does come off as bitter sometimes, and he comes off as jaded. But I think it's that Katt Williams, he wanted to be given the stamp of approval, but people wouldn't give it to him. So he decided to take it through beefing like he did with Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey said on radio that when it comes to the situation with Katt Williams, it's just like a dog. A dog will not bark at a parked car. A dog moves at a vehicle that's moving, on the move, if you will. And sometimes a dog will bark at something bigger than itself, like the moon. But when the moon barks back, then the dog becomes famous. So Katt Williams, wanting to indulge with toxic women, he wants a woman who's fun and exciting, but he doesn't want to make her famous like he has become famous. And Katt Williams has allegedly chosen drugs as opposed to uplifted himself and gotten to the next level. He wants to almost stay where he's at, but gain fame at that low level. And he wants to keep people on a low level under him. And it's a shame because Katt Williams, he is talented. He has been in movies. He has been on sold out tours. But when is Katt Williams going to get a production company like Comic View or Def Jam level so that he can actually showcase people versus having to micromanage people and keep them under his thumb? So did you find what you're looking for, Faith?
Yeah, so it looks like my video is still viewable to the public. I won't monetize it because I want people to see that video.
Okay.
I think the epiphany that we came to towards the end of the video when we were playing the Breakfast Club was spot on. And it just came to me just like that because Kevin Hart says something that was really, really interesting in that moment. He said Linnell, and he named off about 3 more female comedians that was under the Katt Williams brand and under the Katt Williams umbrella. These were the people, the comedians that traveled with Katt Williams. And he's saying, like, these women were under your umbrella and you did not bring them up. And then he pointed to Tiffany. Tiffany Haddish is under my umbrella, and I want to bring my people up. He said, you could have used your fame, your power, and your influence to bring your people up, and you chose not to. Take accountability. And see, that's what Katt Williams isn't doing. He's not angry with Kevin for saying that he was on drugs, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, when his ex Hazel explained that they raided the house, and one of the excuses that Katt Williams used to try to get off was that these drugs are I'm not selling this, I'm using it. Okay, well, you can't get mad and say that it's about him saying that you're on drugs. He said you chose drugs. He didn't say that you were on drugs. And you're just mad at this guy because he makes you look bad. The women that were under your umbrella that traveled with you did not make it the same way that Tiffany Haddish made it, not because of the Illuminati, not because of the white man, not because of the industry is against everybody and all this other stuff that you're spewing over here on Shannon's couch and you're crying to everybody. It's because of you. And that's what Kevin Hart was saying. Take accountability. It's not you sitting up here pointing the fingers at everybody like Kevin Hart was saying. But it's because of you. And the reason why Kevin Hart is now public enemy number one is because he makes you look bad. Because as many specials that you have on Netflix and as many comedy tours as you do, Kevin surpassed you. And he's making you look bad by bringing up people that's under his umbrella. So yeah, I have to agree with my brother Kevin Hart 1010%. And see, just like you sat there on the couch and told Shannon that he has a habit of, identifying with losers. I don't have a habit of identifying with losers. And Katt Williams, you are displaying some loser-like behavior yourself. So it's time to turn the mirror around and recognize the loser in the mirror. That's you. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because of anything else anybody else did. It's you. And that's straight facts. Kevin Hart did not lie. I think that when you sat there on that couch and said that this is going to be a truth-telling event, I think that was the first lie you told. I think that was the first lie you told. I'm sorry, Spade. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I agree, because what they did was they put people on and they created an alliance. And I heard Katt Williams say to Shannon Sharp that he doesn't like that they have a cabal or an alliance. And really what it is they've created an empire. So that way, if you're kind of like tired of listening to Kevin Hart and Kevin Hart needs a boost to his career, he can go to Tiffany Haddish that he put on and she can help him revitalize and regroup and bring him on to different projects. And I think it's great that you look down on someone when picking them up and pulling them up, as opposed to looking down on someone and trying to diminish their light, like Kevin Hart was saying. So what Kevin Hart was saying. So I think that Katt Williams' problem allegedly is that instead of him actually competing, he wants to make the other people look small so that he looks larger. So he wants competition as long as they can't compete to win. And that's why he's taking all these jabs at them. Because if he truly wanted to be competitive and he truly wanted to win, he would do it with ticket sales. He would do it with being funnier. He would do it with box office receipts. He would do it in ways where you could actually quantify it and qualitate it. No, what Katt Williams is doing is he's doing a smear campaign and slinging mud, whereas based off what's online, he did choose drugs. He didn't choose to uplift himself and be better and improve himself.
Exactly. And the proof always comes out in the pudding. That's the reason why I kept warning people. Do not jump on this truth-telling bandwagon just so quickly. When I saw him sitting on that couch and he was drinking that cognac like he was drowning his sorrows, I said, this guy looks like, he's sulking. That was the first thing I thought. His whole demeanor looked like he was sulking. Now, there was a body interpreter, a body language interpreter that actually did a little bit of commentary about Katt Williams' body language. And he was saying that, all of the fiddling and messing around with himself that Katt Williams was doing, he said you'll see him doing a lot of rubbing his face, fiddling with his cat, and rubbing his legs. And the body language interpreter was saying that usually when they see people doing that much fidgeting and rubbing on themselves, that's an action that a person does when they're trying to soothe themselves. Those are self-soothing gestures because you're anxious or you have anxiety or some type of worry about something. So it was something during that interview that kept making Katt very anxious and very worried. Now, at the risk of being hated on again, I'm going to try to share a little bit of what I'm talking about here. Hold on a second. I'm not going to do the Breakfast Club because Breakfast Club really, really be hating. All right, so I'm just gonna show this clip because this is a very, very good clip from an unknown YouTuber, and this is a guy by the name of Replicant Fish, and this is a little compilation that he put together. But I want you to notice how Katt Williams is rocking back and forth, touching himself, fiddling with his cat, and all of these things. Once again, a body language specialist, spoke to how Katt Williams' body language spoke to something that was like making him nervous. He's very anxious. And these are movements that a person does when they're not being completely honest. So I'll go ahead and play a little bit of this clip.
Katt Williams on toxic women, feminists, and independent modern women. Yeah. The man of the hour, Katt Williams on the Shannon Sharpe show, Club Shay Shay, spilled more than beans, spilled more than tea. He woke up and chose more than violence. And vengeance. He sort of chose revenge to a degree, but wow. What an interesting interview, podcast, episode, the beginning of 2024. Earthquakes, tsunamis, aeroplane collisions, all manner of weird weather, and Katt Williams roasting the F out of a lot of people. But let's hear his views on women, amongst his other views.
He said he was supposed to play Money Mike and you were supposed to play Santa Claus.
An outright lie.
So
that he knows is a lie.
So why would he say it?
Because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing because he's a liar.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Interesting.
And that's what he kept saying throughout the whole show. You remember, Spade?
Yeah, I do.
He never really gave any receipt. Whenever Shannon said, why do you think this person said this? Because they're a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. He never gave any receipts. He just kept repeating over and over again that he's there to tell the truth. But everybody else is a liar and nobody knows why liars lie.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit. What? Nobody knows why liars lie. And it's a man unit.
Bruh. A man unit, a man weave. No way. I remember Steve Harvey having that haircut, and I used to think, damn, that grown man has some good genetics. Like, damn.
Nobody knows why liars lie.
How is his hair so defined and well cut? My God, those American barbers must be amazing.
And it's a man unit.
What I did not know, and obviously a lot of us know now, it was a man weave. It was a fucking man weave. What evil is this? For this small moment in time, I apologize to any woman with weave I've ever made a point about.
Nobody knows why liars lie.
I'll let you drink anymore the way we ain't even got.
I'm not fueled by alcohol. I've had a sip, less than you.
Okay, he's saying he has a sip, but you see his glass is almost empty, right? Now, when they first started the segment, he had a half full glass of cognac, but he sat there and lied just right there, talking about he had a sip. His glass is almost empty, y'all. Pay attention.
The truth don't need motivation.
It doesn't indeed. Just needs enough room.
I'm just saying I can't let these dudes lie. Like all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets, and this is the age of truth. The truth don't need motivation, and the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs.
It would be a lot easier to see the lies in the age of truth.
And this is the age of truth because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird face wife that never do an interview.
Oh, man,
Kind of like the light-skinned, weird-faced woman that you dated that was on Love of Hip Hop by the name of Hazel E.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview.
I'm sorry. Sorry. This part always got me
Get a light-skinned, weird face wife.
A light-skinned, weird face wife. Like, wow, that's very specific. That's very specific.
Sounds like Katt Williams is even jealous of these men's wives.
Get a light-skinned, weird face wife. Nobody knows why liars lie. Yeah, it's.
But how hard? Because you have to understand, she is a female, and so you have to be careful. You have to handle her with kid gloves.
Sir. You want to go ahead and take that out? You don't want to be against equality, do you?
No.
What you just said was very unequal, sir.
Bruh, but
I think maybe you've had enough of this. Because I think I just heard you say that women are not equal and should be treated unequally.
They want to be treated.
You mean
equal.
as a comedian?
No. They want. Listen, you understand, and I understand.
Yeah.
In certain situations, they want to be treated equal. Not all situations.
And what part of what you saw her get?
Oh, she deserved everything you gave her.
What part would have been different if she was a man? It would have just been more vicious.
Yeah, that's my point.
I took all the vicious and venom away because I didn't have any. Plus, I understood. I'm not trying to offend black women with short hair.
Okay, equal opportunities. He's talking about the radio show he was on some years back and ended up having to roast that gnarled hand host, Wonder something. I can't remember which one.
No one cares.
One of the funniest things he said was, did her...
Okay. That gnarled hand thing, you know, the when he has this, like, when you just kind of stop it right here and you look at her hands, that gnarled hand thing is kind of funny. What you think about that, Ace?
Yeah, I mean, it was a hilarious roast. I think that the YouTuber you just played was really catty. What you sent me last night about the person who was the behavioral expert, I like that. And Katt Williams really did believe that he was coming to tell the truth. It's just that he was coming to tell the truth on certain things, not all things. And he mixed it in with ad hominems, which you know from doing the YouTube panels when you're going back and forth with somebody, if they come with the personal attacks, they've lost. So when Katt Williams came with the personal attacks, it was funny, but it was a sign that he basically lost and he really couldn't compete like he wanted to. And his truth was full of, let's just say, misleading information. And then when going on Willie D was asking him, do you want to call or can I call Al, the alley guy from Houston? Katt Williams paused. And instead of saying, yeah, to go back and forth with the guy, Katt Williams chose to say that he wanted to box Katt Williams in a celebrity match, but he didn't do it because the alley guy wasn't a celebrity. So Katt Williams is hiding a lot of information. He's misleading with information. He's using attacks, and he is funny to kind of like divert your attention away from digging deeper and uncovering a lot of the truth that he claims that he's there to bring.
Okay, I did find that body language one that you like. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and play that one instead. Now this is the one that I was telling everybody about, the body language therapist and how he was breaking down Katt Williams' body language.
Is a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. He already had his deals when he got here.
At least one of these 4 people is straight up lying to their audience. And I'm about to tell you which one it is. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey, and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and over 10 years experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people.
So this is Spidey, and his channel is called the Behavioral Arts. So basically, he has a whole channel dedicated to analyzing people's body language. But I'll continue.
Behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. This week, we are covering one of the most requested topics in the history of the channel. So just last week, actor and comedian Katt Williams did an interview on the Club Shay Shay YouTube channel, and it instantly went viral. Within days, it had tens of millions of views, and everyone on the internet was talking about it. The reason the interview got that much attention is because Katt made some really shocking claims about some of the top celebrities in the world, including Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and many, many more. Shortly after the interview aired, some of the individuals that he called out publicly responded to some of the things he said. And in this video, we're looking at all of it. We're looking at body language, facial expressions, word choice of all the players involved to figure out what's going on and why I personally believe that one of these 4 individuals is flat out being deceptive to their audience. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different from my other analysis videos because usually we focus a lot on body language. And although there's some good body language here, and we're going to talk about it, a lot of the important stuff here is the word choice. A lot of these people are comedians. They use their words very effectively, and I think we're getting a lot of hints in the way they're choosing to communicate certain messages. The other thing is, besides my work as a behavioral analyst, I'll be bringing a lot of my experience as a live performer into this analysis, because there's a lot of stuff he's talking about that involves the dynamic between live stage performers. And I've been a touring performer for the past 15 years of my life. I have a lot of friends who have worked with some of the individuals he's talking about. And I myself have shared a stage with Steve Harvey, and I've seen him work a crowd. And I'll be bringing all that experience into some of the stuff that we're talking about here. That being said, let's dive right in.
He understands the method that goes into making cognac.
Right. Well, as a comedian, you get free drinks at the club. So all comedians either turn out to be connoisseurs like myself,
right,
or straight up and down alcoholics like 60% of Hollywood. And the reason I had to come is because you've made a safe place for the truth to be told.
Okay, so before we get to the controversial clips and we see what's what, I wanted to start with a couple of clips from the beginning of the interview where he's getting comfortable with Shannon, the host. And immediately we're seeing Katt's capacity with words and with his audience. Let's really quickly start with some body language. You'll notice right in the beginning when he's talking about the whiskey, we see the right hand rubbing his right knee. Now, this is something we call adapters, pacifiers, or self-soothing gestures. Anytime you see someone doing something that looks like a massage type gesture, this is something that the research has found we do in moments of stress to calm ourselves down. Now, in the beginning of the interview, he's doing it a little bit with the knee like this. We see him adjusting the hat, but as the interview progresses, these pacifiers spike like crazy. By the end of the interview, it's constant. Both hands are rubbing on the legs. He's constantly adjusting the hat. It doesn't seem like any specific topic makes this start. And therefore, we can't pay too much attention to it because at some point, it just becomes constant. It becomes part of his baseline. So we can kind of look at why the whole interview may have become stressful for him as a whole, but we can't look at specific things because it's happening all the time. But let's talk about his very effective.
It could be happening all the time because he's lying. What do you think, Spade?
I think that whatever has him anxious or nervous, he was able to quell that on Willie D's interview by lighting up. Whereas on the Shay Shay room, you can't do that. And that's why he was doing all that rubbing. Whatever's going on with him, that probably, in my opinion, is the reason why he can't take bigger roles in the movie industry and why he can't really rise up and become C-list, B-list, or A-list celebrity. Because imagine you playing a character and you're supposed to be sitting there listening to someone talk to you and the whole time you're fidgeting or you're rubbing or you got to be on something to keep from fidgeting and rubbing. So being a comedian and doing stand-up, he can do all that nervous tics and stuff, and nobody would have a problem with it. But he probably can't really perform that long without being under the influence of something. And to me, that kind of goes into what Kevin Hart was saying, in that Kevin Hart is not, really dealing with whatever the problem is. He's pacifying it, and that's what's limiting him. So that, but the behavioral analysis guy was showing there, to me, that lets you know that Kevin Hart has a problem.
Not Kevin Hart.
I mean, Katt Williams. Sorry, they all look alike, right? No, yeah, you're right, Katt Williams. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about, because I was just like, man, this, I saw him rubbing on his leg throughout the interview, and I kind of picked up on it, but I just thought it was weird. I just thought maybe he was kind of, having a relapse or something. But now that the behavior therapist explained that, people that rub themselves, they're feeling nervous and anxious about something, so they're trying to self-pacify. That makes sense. So he's on this interview, and I think he's nervous about this whole interview because he knows that he's saying a lot of stuff, but he's not really keeping it real with himself. I think that he really believes the things that he's saying, but he's lying to himself about the reason why he's where he's at now as a comedian. And I think subconsciously he knows he's lying to himself.
My guess would be, and I agree with you that really could be true. My 2 cents would be that he has unresolved issues from his past, because according to him, Katt Williams, he was homeless at 13, sleeping on a mattress in the park, and somebody tried to violate him. That, plus him being traumatized by his family being religious, and he chose to leave, as opposed to having a normal 13-year-old, 12-year-old life and having to go work. All that could be traumatic. If he was working for a 5-star restaurant like he claims, that's a high stress environment. So you got that, plus the fact that he's living on a mattress. How is he keeping his clothes clean? How is he keeping his uniform clean? So I think Katt Williams has gotten to a point where he tries to impress other people by just lying and embellishing and doing a hyperbole. And I think the nervous tics comes from not just the unresolved issues, but having to remember all the details of the half-truth, the lies, and misleading information.
Okay, well, we have Water Sniper. I love Water Sniper, has the longest comments ever, but I do like what he says here. He says he was rubbing his legs and hands because he feels uncomfortable or unsure of the things he's saying, and knows when he says these things, the response is not going to be in his favor. And I would have to say I agree with that as well. I would have to say I agree with Water Sniper, because like you said, he's had a hard life coming up, and he's always been gifted, because like you said, he's oh, you know what? Speaking of gifted, he said that he was accepted into college at 12.
Right. Allegedly.
Now, I want to really go to this, because this was the biggest and most elaborate lie that I think he sat on that couch and told. And I just want people to think about this. If Katt Williams was indeed accepted into college at 12, that means that he would have had to have graduated high school at what?
Like 11?
Yeah.
Or maybe even 12. Yeah, so Kevin Hart.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin Hart was saying, if you accomplish this, where's the newspaper articles about it? Where's the press about it? Because that's an amazing thing. And then even with Katt Williams working in at a 5-star restaurant, I don't know where the 5 stars comes from. That's an amazing thing as well. Where's the pictures for that? where
Why not plug the restaurant?
right, or just show pictures of people you took pictures with. Because I mean, if I'm working in a restaurant that's upscale and there's like a 14-year-old with a shirt and a tie walking around sweeping, mopping, and serving people, I'm going to be interested in how did you get here? Why are you not in school? But if he's like, well, I graduated, but I just chose not to go not to go to college, I'd be like, why not? And people would come forward and say, yeah, this guy was really smart. I worked with him when he was a kid. Everything he says is true. But people are not really coming out to really defend Katt Williams' story, and they're not
Well,
really
Katt
putting them
Williams
down.
has enough money to pay people to, you know, defend
Right.
this if you wanted to.
But I think someone like Hazel E., who has that girl code thing, someone like her would want to come forward and say some stuff that, you know, gain clout. I mean, people who would have negative things to say or even positive things to say, they would come forward and say it, like a lot of comedians are doing. Like the people who are saying, oh yeah, he did give me some money after I got off performing. So I think if all of the stuff that he says about his past is true, before he became an adult, people would come forward and say those things. So I agree with the guy that you were showing, that Katt Williams, he tells these outlandish hyperbole things not to be taken seriously, but to kind of have that shock value and to be funny. So when looking at Katt Williams now, it's like, okay, where do you separate the funny and I'm telling the joke, ha ha ha, you know I'm lying, I know I'm lying, I know I didn't do no 2,000 books as far as what I read. Where do you separate the real from the fake?
There is no way. He didn't say 2,000. He said he read 3,000 books a month.
Yeah, see, that's and and it's outlandish and it's to be shocking and funny. But to me, the way I look at it, okay, if you're coming to tell the truth, like the guy said in the video that you played, why would you have all these jokes if you're coming to clear your name, tell the truth, and drag down these people? Why are you cracking these jokes? So when Kevin Hart went to respond to Katt Williams, he attacked the jokes and the hyperbole stuff, and now the whole thing just kind of looks like it's one big clown show.
And it's because it is, you know, and I didn't even know that Katt Williams was on tour.
Yep. Almost every week last
I
year.
didn't know it until I saw your live stream the other day and you pulled up all his tour dates. How long has he been touring?
Years. He doesn't stop. He just tours and tours and tours and tours. Yeah, he doesn't stop. And I think he's able to do it because that's all he does is just tour. Like he wakes up and works. And when he's off work, he's off work. And he wouldn't have to work as hard if he would get more into being a business owner and creating something to put comics on, as opposed to him having to work himself. That's the downside of somebody who micromanages and doesn't want to put people on, doesn't want to bring people up or whatever and improve himself. He's going to, because he's basically entry level, he's going to have to work and grind over and over and over again until he can't anymore, because he's not getting to the level where he can actually sit down and not do anything money.
Yeah, but this particular tour that he's on now, you say you pulled up all of his tour dates. He had been doing this tour for a minute.
Right. All 2023 and even now 2024.
I had no idea.
Yeah, to me, that's the reason why he's doing all these interviews, is to basically get a rise out of people, trend, say things that's wild and outlandish to promote the tour.
So basically, the tour must not have been doing well. That's what I'm thinking. For him to have to do all of this in order to promote his tour, the tour must not have been doing all that well. Because honestly, I didn't know the man was even on tour. So this is just this is crazy.
Yeah, it
So
is.
so rather than him think of a way to improve his game, he goes, I'm going to go on and do these interviews and I'm going to shit on all these comedians. And then whammo bammo, this is going to be the lightning in the bottle that I need to spike up my ticket sales.
I think that, and then you know how Cat Williams was saying that when it comes to a joke, sometimes you have to like spend 3 minutes to tell a story to like set it up, and then after that, you can just tell joke after joke after joke after joke because it's already been set up. I think what Cat Williams is doing with these interviews is not just putting butts in seats, but I think what he's doing with all the salaciousness, all of these dragging people, this is him setting up the jokes while he's on stage. Because when it comes to writing a joke, it takes a while to write an original joke. And then, like Cat Williams says, you got to go back in the lab and you got to improve on it, make it better, make it better, make it better. But when you're causing a beef or drama, now you don't have to write new material. You can just go roast other comics and talk about controversial stuff, which I think is smart. It's no different than what's in Black YouTube. People, instead of making like original content or reacting to someone else's content or speaking about something they saw or whatever, or doing a review, they will create a beef with other content creator as a setup to tell joke after joke after joke and have content for a while about someone else, and it's going to bring people to you. Cat Williams is doing the same thing with the Shannon Sharp interview, with the Willie D interview, and any other interviews that he's going to be on. He's setting up the jokes for when he gets on stage, and he knows people are going to want to hear him drag Kevin Hart as opposed to coming with an original joke.
Well, now, Alley Cat says, facts, Faith. What about Kevin? We know Steve is on Family Feud. So now we want to, say, what about Kevin? But see, every time Kevin Hart had a tour, I knew about Kevin Hart's tour.
Plus, he's in movies that are making a lot of money.
Right. I had no idea that Katt Williams was on tour at all. Like, I've seen Kevin's work. Katt Williams, I've seen his work too, but I didn't know he was touring.
See, now you know.
Yeah, this is what I want to get you guys to understand. Now I know, but I didn't know that he was touring most of last year. Had no idea. Did you all know?
And that's kind of, well, that's the end game, is to do all these interviews so that you know he's on tour, and it gives him fresh material for when he's on stage. He doesn't have to sit and write jokes or come with original jokes or worry about someone saying that he stole their joke if he's able to just drag other people like that, like it's done in YouTube.
See, Allie says, I have not seen Katt forever. Exactly. I thought Katt Williams retired, to be honest with you. And then, he sat up there on the couch and said something. He told another lie, because he was saying that when he was doing the whole wilding out thing, he made it seem like he was doing some favor for Nick Cannon. And I used to see him at Wilding Out, and I'm thinking, oh, Nick Cannon gave Katt Williams a job. That's what I was thinking.
And that's the truth. He did. I mean, he did give him a job. Katt Williams looked really awkward out there with people who were taller and bigger than him. He just looked really awkward out there. But like Katt Williams tell it, he was doing Nick Cannon a favor. And that's where it comes with the hyperbole and the embellishing of the truth to make himself seem larger than other people.
Exactly, Water Sniper. He is full of himself. Nick Cannon was building his own brand with the Wilding Out thing. And he was right there, skating on in there on Nick Cannon's, Sean. He was right there. I don't see what favors he did for Nick Cannon at all. I see the favor that Nick Cannon did for him, but I don't know what the hell favor, he talking about, that he did for Nick Cannon. I don't think that he's done anything for anybody, to be honest with you. Now I heard a few people here and there say, oh yeah, I was down on my luck. And these are all people, all comedians, by the way, that you don't even know who they are. Down on their luck, homeless, don't have a job, not making no money. Katt Williams give them $10,000. But Katt Williams cannot put them on. Katt Williams can't, make them a household name. He can't, give them a brain. This is what I'm seeing. And so he gets his little raggedy ass up on Shannon's couch, and he's taking shots at all the greats. Men that actually put in work. Like I said, the Kings of Comedy was a gimmick. These were all black men who got together and they built an economy for themselves. So when Steve Harvey got big, he pulled up Cedric the Entertainer. And when Cedric the Entertainer got big, he pulled up Ricky Smiley. And each one pulled the other one up. Bernie Mac came up. So they were making an economy for each other. And Katt Williams sat there and he hated on each and every one of these guys because they were all doing better than him. And these guys toured. They sold out plenty of places. They grinded. I think, coming up with a brand like Kings of Comedy was genius. And all I see is Katt Williams hating. I don't see him congratulating nobody. And you all don't have a problem with this. He could sit up here and lie. The first lie he told was, I'm here to tell the truth. That was the first lie he told, actually. And then y'all proceeded to eat up everything else he had to say. I bet you some of y'all in here that actually believe that he was 8-9 years old reading 3,000 books a month. I bet you some of you in here that actually believe that he graduated from high school at 11. Where's the diploma? Y'all will believe anything without actual proof. That's the problem with some of them. That's probably the reason why some of y'all, if a snake oil salesman came through and sold you some cheap perfume, you wouldn't even know the difference. Just put a name brand on it, call it Chanel, and you'll be happy to fork over your $300. You believe anything, snake oil. That's what Katt Williams is selling. He's got a lot of tours under his belt, a lot of Netflix specials, but so does Kevin Hart. And so does Bernie Mac. And so does all of the other comedians that he's been hating on. Exactly, Water Sniper. People were actually acting like Katt Williams found the cure for every cancer in the world. As a matter of fact, I was just joking with Spade this morning. I said, Spade, I bet you if they put Katt Williams' name on the ballot right now, if he became the Democratic nomination, Well, how much you want to bet black people be running to the polls to vote for him? Old snake oil sales. That's how easy we are. We are so easy. And O'Shea, brother, I love you and I love your work. But Katt Williams ain't even for black men. Ooh. But I'm going to say it, Katt Williams ain't even for other black men. There are a lot of comedians that, were broken down on their luck, and it seems like Katt Williams deals with a lot of people like that. Like Spade said earlier, people that he can control. But anybody that look like they might be a star, he don't want to have nothing to do with. That's the reason why he locked out Ali, who is another black man and a comedian that was trying to come up. And that's the reason why he's hating on Kevin. All right, so we're almost at the 1 hour mark, Mr. Parkland. What do you want to do? Do you want to you think we should shut it down right here, or do you have anything else you want to add?
I'll kind of give like a final thought of just saying that it's recorded that Katt Williams did emancipate himself at 13. He moved to Florida and supported himself as a street vendor. That can actually be proven. But the reason why Katt Williams left and emancipated himself was because his father was a Jehovah's Witness, and he was unsupportive of life outside of that. And I think what Katt Williams does in defiance of his father is claim to be Christian. And that's just kind of like a shot against his father. And so a lot of the stuff that he said as far as his life, the one thing that he holds dear is being on stage. But there's different stuff that's chronicled of him being on stage and then jumping off stage to confront a heckler, or being on stage and getting caught up and going back and forth with somebody. And he said negative things to people who were Mexican, including telling them to go back to Mexico and things like that. So Katt Williams' problem has been his attitude and his mindset. He's always had a chip on his shoulder. And that's what's basically keeping him stuck on the stage and not transcending like the other people, like the kings of comedy, who he's critiqued, brought down, and even dragged. And I think the lesson learned or the takeaway should be that someone like Katt Williams, he knows that we like drama. He knows that we like the effery, and he's banking on that. And that's the reason why he's going around to all these places dragging people, as opposed to writing new material and being funny on his own outright. And I don't think people should take Katt Williams too seriously. I think we should take a grain of salt every time we listen to something he has to say. And it should be like that for everybody. But Katt Williams' problem is ultimately Katt Williams, because he was arrested at an LA airport in 2006 for a stolen pow pow and his briefcase. Also, he was arrested for police in Georgia on the previous stream that we did, because he had allegedly he had $3,500 worth of stolen coins and jewelry. And then he was arrested for DUI, and where he was also arrested in connection with an alleged assault on a tractor driver. The alleged victim said 3 women approached his tractor at around 4:30 p.m. and attacked him with rocks and dirt clods. And then he had the issue with the 7th grader. Then he was arrested in Oakland, California, 2012 on suspicion of assault with a pow pow. And he allegedly manhandled a 13-year-old man with a bottle. Then there was also an issue in Oracle Arena in Oakland in 2012, where a class action lawsuit was filed seeking compensation from him by, quote, all others who paid money for a show and got nothing but Katt Williams' non-performance. And the list goes on and on and on. So people have had a problem with his showmanship, with his ability to be an entertainer and a performer. And what he does is, instead of him having accountability for all this and improving himself, he chooses to attack those who point out his shortcomings and the reason why he's not able to grow professionally. And that is not accountability.
And don't forget, he attacked his bodyguard with a baseball bat.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So, once again, like Kevin Hart stated on the Breakfast Club, and you guys can go and watch that full segment on your own because Faith Factor can't play it. Well, she's gonna get, timed out for it. But Kevin Hart said, hey, dude, the reason why you're not further in your career or where you want to be right now, it's not because of everybody else. It's because of you, Katt Williams. And see, the rest of you sitting up here buying into this bullshit and defending him, O'Shea, y'all the problem. He's never going to get better. He's never going to grind harder if you all keep enabling him. And I'm really, really surprised at O'Shea because O'Shea is definitely a YouTuber that grinds hard. But with that, I just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up. And if you have anything that you want to say, please leave it in the comment section, but be respectful. Keep it to the topic, not myself and not my co-host, because we're not the subjects here. And with that, I have to say, I love each and every one of you. Peace. And we're out. Holla.